Okay.
Right,
Ow! Balls!
Well, guys, welcome back.
And the clap in 1, 2, 3.
We gotta use that somehow.
Try to clap after 3. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
That's terrible. Whatever.
Starting dialogue in 3, 2, 1. Hello, and welcome back to the Timeout Corner podcast, episode 2. We have the usual Brandon,
Aloha.
Andrew,
Hi, guys.
Philip.
You know
What's
what? I'm just
All right.
not even gonna. Oh my gosh, Charlie, you couldn't be any more unenthusiastic about.
I was
like,
being calm.
Hi, welcome back to the
All right.
Timeout Corner. Instead
I
of
was being
"Hi, guys,
calm."
Welcome,
Being
Sorry, I'm
calm
sorry.
and welcoming.
welcome
Anyways.
back to the Timeout Corner. My name is Charlie.
No,
I was
That was
being
not
calm and
terrible.
welcoming.
Hey there, everybody. I'm gonna welcome you all back to the Timeout Corner.
That's
Okay.
good.
That's it. Brandon's introducing every episode.
Brandon,
from now on.
take it away. You're introducing us.
All right.
All right.
Brandon,
All
go.
right.
That was
Charlie,
beautiful.
take it away.
First things first. Social media is a big part of everyone's life. So, and
Too big in some cases.
Yeah, over
Yeah.
I read like over 80% of adults between 18 and 30 use social media on a regular basis.
Is that worldwide or is that just in the United States?
I'd have to double check, but I think that's at least the United States.
I was gonna say, is that United States? That's
Yeah.
kind of low, honestly. But
What sites are considered social media?
Well,
Yeah, that's true.
here's what I'm gonna bring to the table right now. So I have accumulated a list of the top 12, and I included the top 12 and not top 10 simply because number 12 was surprising that it was at number 12 and not higher on the list. But
Was it Facebook?
no, number 12 is Twitter, which I
Really?
thought was
Really?
really high on the list. Was a lot higher on the list. But no, number 12 is Twitter
I figured that would be one of the top
at
these days.
around
Yeah.
300.
Around Instagram.
And this is in terms of monthly active users. And so Twitter is
Okay.
12 at 326 million active monthly users.
gotcha. All right.
11th is Reddit at 330 million.
Okay, that's a lot. I'm surprised Reddit is more popular, but okay. Yeah, continue.
And then
Honestly, I can understand.
now, number 10 is a one that none of us are going to be familiar with because it's strictly Chinese, pretty much. Sina Weibo. I think I pronounced that right. But it's
Yeah.
near 450 million active users monthly. Number 9 is
Interesting,
everyone's
okay.
favorite, TikTok.
Oh,
my
of course. The most quality content on the internet, guys.
Just hit 500 million. Now, 8. Here's the beginning of the company known as Tencent. 8 is Qzone, which is developed and owned by Tencent, and it's at 531 million active users. Number 7.
What is that? I've never even heard of
It's
that.
also Chinese.
Oh, it's Chinese. Okay.
Number 7 is QQ, which is also Tencent, at 803
Also
million.
Chinese.
Also Chinese. 6 is Instagram.
Okay. Wow.
Instagram's the
Surprised
first
not higher.
to break 1 billion active users a month.
But there's
it's-
still 6 with that. Interesting.
Yeah, and it's owned by Facebook, so that's another big player. We'll see a few more Facebook pop-ups. 5 is our friend Tencent is back with WeChat, which is also Chinese.
I've actually heard of WeChat. So interesting.
And then
All right.
4 is Facebook Messenger.
Oh, that's considered its own thing, I guess.
That's considered its
Alright,
own
that
thing
makes
because it
sense.
has app and separate like division.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
that's fair.
And then 3 is WhatsApp, which is also Facebook, also owned by Facebook.
Wait, quick reminder. What exactly what is WhatsApp's purpose?
It's like encrypted. It's encrypted text messaging, basically.
Yeah, and like free
Oh,
calling.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
2 is YouTube, at 1.9 billion active users.
That's why I was asking, like, if YouTube was considered social media.
So that leaves the number 1 spot for Snapchat.
No, number 1 is Facebook at 2.23 billion active users.
Wait, Snapchat's not on that list.
Snapchat comes in at 17th. I
knew it was
haven't
dying.
included
I knew it was dying.
I haven't included anything between Snapchat and Twitter on the list because they're all things that I haven't heard of, probably international. But Snapchat came in at 17th with 287 million active users a month.
I mean, that's still a lot, but still.
Oh wait, that's a lie. Skype and LinkedIn are more popular than Snapchat. They are like the 15th and 16th respectively, I believe.
there's a major problem we're facing here. Where on this list is MySpace?
Ooh, that's a good point.
I saw a list where
What
MySpace
about-
was like
guys,
35th.
Even more important, where's Tumblr? Where's Tumblr when you need
It
it?
depends on. There are some slightly less updated lists that have Tumblr actually pretty high, but as of lately, this is the latest statistics I could find on Statista.com or something like that.
That doesn't sound sketchy at all.
It was the only one I could find that listed a good amount of statistics on everything.
I mean, Charlie, you're gonna cite all your sources, right?
I checked others, and I checked other sites as well, including Forbes and stuff. And for the most part, it came up the same results that I just listed. Some sites condensed Facebook with Facebook Messenger, but it's roughly all the same. I separated Facebook Messenger to make a point in how much power Facebook has in the social media market industry.
Yeah, no
but
kidding.
also, so because they have Facebook, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram. Another one I was going to bring up, another company I was going to point out, and I kind of pointed out already, was Tencent, which has WeChat, QQ, and Qzone.
Those are all Chinese social media, though, right?
Right, but you know what
Right.
else they own? This is not social media direct, but you know what else they own that you probably would never realize they own? Epic
Disney.
Games,
Oh.
Riot Games,
Ah,
Epic Games and Riot Games, and they have very, very close business relations and with Take-Two Interactive and Square Enix, and have shares and have partial like ownership, like stocks and stuff, Ubisoft and Activision. And they run like,
what do you know?
and they also run basically all the online servers for all of the major game companies through China. They run like all the major Chinese servers for like Activision and EA games and stuff like that.
yeah,
So
like in
really-
China.
Everything is made in China.
I guess it is. Interesting.
Anyways, back to social media. Yeah, I was disappointed to see my Reddit one of my favorite sites on all of the internet, Reddit, coming in so low at 11th, which is still high. A lot
It's
of
still
people,
higher than
330
Twitter,
million.
though. Yeah.
That's
Now,
still.
Does this put in their growth, or is this like, are any of these top
This is-
like 12? Are any of these like declining?
Twitter is declining. Twitter is down.
it's-
Twitter is down like 4%. It's like roughly 4% down from this time last year. As of January 2019. So this is in February statistics.
Yeah, but I'm honestly not that surprised about that.
And then
I mean,
Twitter's- Twitter is also down they're down like 4% from like last year, and then like 7% from 2017. So Twitter's in decline.
Yeah, I've had a Twitter account for a long while, but I haven't gone on Twitter in like 3 years.
Oh yeah, I never go on Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Like
I
it's
use
just,
Twitter quite frequently,
You are tweeter, Charlie.
but
But
I go on it and get angry because Twitter is
That's all people do.
Twitter is where opinions go to die.
I think that's just pretty much all what it is. Is it's just a place for people to just yell at the internet and not be heard, unless you're famous, and then they'll listen to you. And
Yeah,
then dig
pretty
up,
much.
And then dig up your old
That
tweets
brings
that
up
you
a point.
tweeted like 20 years ago and decide to use it against you. But that's besides the point.
And pretty much ruin your career as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's too political, so we're moving on.
Yeah, okay, so you know how PewDiePie on YouTube has the most subscribers, although by the time this podcast comes out, it might change to T-Series. But think about, he has 85 million subscribers, right? About, approximately.
I
Yep.
thought he got to 86.
I think it was
Maybe.
86 as well, but
Okay, maybe it's 86. I haven't.
I will look it
but-
up right now.
All right, but a lot more people seem like, based on the numbers of like followers and tweets that go out, you would think that Twitter it has more active users than YouTube, which currently holds the second highest spot, but Twitter is currently at 12. But like PewDiePie is the most subscribed right now with 86 million. T-Series is pretty much 86 million as well. But
It
the
is
most
86.
followed person on Twitter is Katy Perry at 106 million. 106 million. And then
yeah,
Just-
but it's not engagement. You know what I mean? Like you gotta actually look at
Right.
her tweets and how many like likes and retweets she gets.
right, but you could say the same thing about PewDiePie. He has 86 million subscribers, but he's not getting 86 million views on all of his videos.
No, but he gets like 7 million views a video. I mean, well, on good videos. And you also gotta look at the site as a whole as well. yes, you can go off those like really inflated numbers. I think like Taylor Swift has like I think 100 million as well on Twitter.
83
would
million.
83. Okay, yeah.
I would like to take into consideration the relationship between the people who use YouTube and Twitter. If you look at a YouTuber's subscriber count, it's not like it's seriously above where their Twitter followers count will be at. Like,
That's a good point too.
you say somebody on YouTube has 150,000 subscribers, they'll be lucky on Twitter to have 15,000 followers.
Right.
Like, not everybody from YouTube goes over to Twitter.
To be fair though, it's like the platform you're known for. Like there are people that are really big on Instagram, but will have like very limited presence on YouTube and Twitter if they even have them. So
right. People who become famous for anything like everyone who's famous on Twitter has the most followers and all that. They're famous for other reasons. They're not famous for being on Twitter.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They're all like big name celebrities.
Right.
Yeah,
no one gets a massive Twitter audience just by being on Twitter.
Yeah, there's no such thing as like, because I mean, you have Instagram models or like Instagram famous people, but like no one's like a Twitter famous person's not a thing. So
yeah, good point.
Just like
you may have a viral tweet, like a one-off thing, but that's about the most you ever get.
Just like there's no like famous Facebook people. Like you don't get famous off Facebook.
No, not really. Yeah, you're right. You're known for something else, and then you go on Facebook.
Yeah.
The only person famous off of Facebook is Zucks.
Yeah.
Zuck. Speaking of Zuck, you should. What do you guys think about trusting the Zuck with your information, who sells them on a very regular basis?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, Google knows way more about me than Facebook, but we all trust Google.
Here's the other thing. Again, this is probably gonna get way too political, but this is my personal opinion on the matter. Is privacy doesn't exist anymore. In many ways, we just don't realize it. And honestly, I'm okay with that because like honestly, in some part of me, like I don't really care.
I would agree.
If
you don't care now, just wait though.
Like,
well, yeah, but I mean, obviously. Yeah, but I also come from the matter of the fact that like people make mistakes, and I come from the perspective that the past doesn't define you, and I think you can change. So granted, you have to realize that plays into what I think about this whole deal, but yeah, I mean obviously, yes, I think privacy is a very good thing, and I think we should all value that. Because everyone needs time to be by themselves, but when I'm referring to privacy, I'm talking about online, or your anything like referring to social media. It doesn't exist, and so like
anything you say or do in social media is practically immortalized on the internet. There's almost no way to get rid of it.
Once you join social media, you sacrifice a bunch of privacy and stuff like that.
And I would like to do a shout out to my dad for this analogy, because when we were younger and we were starting to get on Facebook, it was like this whole big deal, and it's like I get to create a Facebook account because you turned 16, I think it was.
I thought it was 13, but I might be wrong.
I don't know, it was something like that.
12, 13.
You can just lie about your age.
Well,
yeah, that too.
I didn't lie about my age because I was a good boy. And so, but basically, here's the thing. Or here's the analogy he gave us. Is basically like in our conversation that we're talking about now is again not barring the fact that we're posting it to YouTube. But like we would have this conversation if we were in with each other in the same room, and like I announced something. Like saying that, I mean, okay, since I'm a guy and it doesn't happen, but like I would say like, hey guys, I'm pregnant. Like it would just stay between you. guys, hang with me.
That's an image.
Guys,
that is an image I don't want in my brain right now.
Guys, bring it in. Okay, I know it's funny.
I mean, Philip, there's so many examples you could have picked.
Yeah, I'm sure there's
so many. Why?
Okay, all right, just go with me, okay?
Continue.
Just go with me.
Okay.
So I'm supposed to put on screen.
Okay, so but here's the thing. But that information just stays between the four of us. But when you
well,
post
now it's all out there, guys.
but
Philip
when
is
you
pregnant. It is confirmed, guys. The
but when you
whole internet
post
knows
that,
now.
when you post that to Instagram or Facebook
Or
or
YouTube.
any of those or social media sites, like anyone can access that. Like I don't like even if you have private quote unquote privacy settings set on your Facebook account, anybody can access that. And obviously, as we know from the whole Zuck thing, like the government has access to that. And I honestly don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because I think it has beneficial things as long as they're using that information in the right way and they're not selling it legally and stealing identities. But again, that's way too much. You don't need that. But basically, oh, dang it, what was I trying to make the point? Wait, hang on, I had a point. What was it?
Well, we're not gonna wait until you figure it out.
Wait,
I'm gonna
hang
bring up
on.
my next point.
No, I got this. It was just go. I'll remember.
All right. Anyways, but the thing is, Zuck was selling it to.
I think I remember.
Okay,
you were talking about an analogy that your dad made. Phil.
I think that was the pregnant thing.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So then
he said he was pregnant.
Yeah. So on those things, like it's standing. It's like you're the president in your inaugural address, and you just yelled out like, "Hey guys, I'm pregnant," and and so everyone who was there now has access to that
image.
And so now you can come into a job interview, like 10 years down the road, and they're sitting there,
right.
And then all of a sudden they ask you the question, "Hey, how did the pregnancy go?" Oh, first of all, I believe that question is illegal to ask, but
no, they'll just look up the tape of you in front of all those people in the Capitol screaming into a microphone that you're pregnant.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, it'll be out there for the world to see.
And I think people are getting so upset about their privacy being invaded, but the idea of privacy on the internet just it doesn't exist, and people just thought it did, and that's what they're upset about, I think.
Right, but like you mentioned something about like how the government gets that information. Yeah, sure. The government gets the information, but Facebook was selling their user information to third party like advertising and marketing and stuff like that. They weren't selling it to the government. I'm sure they've given information to the government before, but what they got in trouble for was what everyone got mad about was them selling it to advertisers.
Yeah, and I think generally speaking, I think that's a bad way to do that. I mean, it's just not a good. I mean, it's the same way if I walk into, a privately owned store, and then I give them my name and email address because I sign up for them, and then they just start selling my email address to people. Like that's just rude. And so like that I completely agree with, and I think that in and of itself is quote unquote an invasion of privacy. But I think people have to also understand that this is another kind of illustration. This is an illustration. This is a point. Sorry,
Brandon,
right,
be ready. I do have a specific question for you, Brandon. After Philip's done with this.
Okay, hang on. Wait, okay. I'm losing train of thought. What was I? Oh yeah. Okay. You're gonna have to cut all this out because I have no idea what I'm doing. Again, I just supposedly speak for a living.
Are you sure about that?
No, I don't.
You sure like your monologues.
Yes,
I know.
They're not monologues.
Are we going somewhere with this? I don't.
Yes. Okay, I'm going somewhere. Hang on. Give me 5 seconds to think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, Brandon. Here's the question.
Wait, hang on. I got it.
No, I'm not waiting any longer. This is my.
No. Okay, just keep going. I forgot what I was talking about.
Okay, Brandon. Brandon. Don't take this the wrong way, and if you don't want to answer it, you don't have to answer it. I'll cut all this out. You're a relatively reserved person. How do you feel about all this privacy stuff? About all this privacy stuff on the internet being lost, privacy being lost. You know what I mean?
I remember what I was gonna say. Just go ahead, Brandon.
It depends on the type of information that's being sold. Like if it's stuff that I myself have posted or said on these social media sites that are my preferences, sure, give those to third-party advertisers. But if it's personal information that I trust this company with to keep secure, and they give it to somebody else, it's like, you just kind of broke my trust there. Do I really want to trust you with anything more?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Totally agree. Because, I mean, like, it was like the Equifax breach, where, what was that? How many hundreds of millions of Americans got their information breached? And not just like, oh, I posted this nice photo. It's like your social security number, all your credit history, like very personal stuff that you don't expect to just be out there.
Like, all these sites, they save like credit card information that you make for online purchases, and like your own passwords and security questions that you could use for several different things. They store that on their own servers. They have this information that you have trusted them with. But what's to stop them from giving this information away now?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And now to bring up what I completely forgot, what I blanked on last time, is what I was going to say is that the internet basically doesn't have like laws in place. Like, it's kind of a lawless land in a way. It's like the new Wild West, because you have your real, quote unquote, real world, which functions and it has its laws. And obviously, if you break them, you get in trouble for them. But the internet, because it's a new culture, and again, I say new in quotes, and we talked about this last time, but it doesn't have like laws and guidelines in place to be able to stop these people from doing these things. And so I feel like we're still trying to establish those and figure that thing out, those things out.
Like, one of the problems with the internet is that it's an international platform
Yeah.
that individual nations are trying to place their own laws on, when it's really something that the international community should be focusing on coming together on laws for.
Yeah.
Because, like, there are American-based websites and servers and such that they have their own set of laws, but they could be restricted by another country's set of laws. Like, these countries, thousands of miles away, are forcing their laws onto citizens that aren't even their own because they're a part of the internet.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes regulating it very tricky. And it's also so easy to get around these laws, because then you can just use like VPNs and stuff like that just to circumvent them. So, and Philip, I agree. I think the internet was a Wild West, but I feel like those days are kind of coming to the end, because I think you have more and more regulators trying to regulate it. Like, I feel like 10, 15, 20 years ago, there were no laws. You could do whatever you wanted. But now I feel like there are more and more real-world consequences as the internet becomes more and more fused with the real world. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to escape the internet now. Yeah, exactly.
Well, YouTube alone, like, even 5 years ago, was a totally different platform.
Exactly.
It was, now it's, like, all super filtered, and, like, all of that's, like,
very
it's
corporate.
very regulated. But, like, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, oh my goodness, you could post whatever you wanted and get away with it, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
They had basic rules, but they were hard, but to my knowledge, if I remember correctly, they weren't really enforced very well.
And they were very basic.
Like, the basic rules were just going off of, like, just the general consensus for internet laws back then. Like, other than that, there was no rules at all.
Yeah. And I mean, I think you can also, like, I totally agree, but I think you can also play in, like, you can look at YouTube's broken system to filter those things out. Like, we as an internet culture are still trying to figure those things out. And like how do you control something that you just have millions and millions of information and like knowledge and different tidbits about people just being passed through and just put up there? How do you filter that without cutting things that may be okay, and without having a team of hundreds of people trying to like go through videos on a daily basis?
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
You could not hire enough people to go through the amount of content that is uploaded to YouTube,
or just the internet in general. And so I think that's kind of where we reach this roadblock of, well, how do you actually control what's on the internet, and can you?
Should you?
That brings up the question of of what the EU, the European Union, is trying to do, which is
with Article 13.
Have a internet-wide robotic automated system that detects copyrighted stuff and censor and basically prevents anything that has a detected copyright thing blocked. Now, like that obviously isn't enforcing things like disallowing inappropriate videos, but it's still a massive internet-wide, to my knowledge, it's internet-wide censor.
Well, the problem with what the EU is doing is they're basically making all the content hosts, so like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, liable for any copyright content on their platform. So like if I don't know, someone rips a movie and uploads it to YouTube, the EU will now turn around and fine YouTube like thousands and thousands of dollars for that one video because they missed it. Yeah. So what YouTube is basically saying is, well, we're just going to pull out of these countries and we're going to heavily limit what can be uploaded, and there's going to be a lot of blocks as a result because we can't put up with the legal liability of all these fines. So it's not so much that the EU is actually creating a filter that will look for all this stuff. They're just going to massively enforce copyright law to like a extreme degree on these companies.
So basically what we found out, and especially with Charlie's investigation into social media, is there's always a bigger company that's out that there's a hidden bigger thing out there that
there's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish.
Mm-hmm.
Quote from Star Wars Episode 1.
I also think it's just a general saying, but yeah.
I don't think that's a quote from Star Wars, Philip. I think it's a bit of a stretch.
I mean, it is a quote. I'm pretty sure
it is a Star Wars quote.
It is a Star Wars quote.
But I think it was around before Star Wars.
I think it was also a saying. Like,
yeah. There's always a bigger fish.
There is always
so
bigger fish.
I think that's pretty much closing. The only other thing I could think we could talk about, which quickly would be like is the impact that social media has on like the youth or on young people who use it all the time. Is it good or bad? And like
that could be a discussion for
that's a discussion.
Time.
That's a big
that's a
topic.
very deep topic for sure.
Yeah, that's a deeper thing.
You need a level of maturity to get on social media. Let me put it that way.
And
like if you're super young, there definitely should be an age limit on it.
I also think that there should be like a restriction on like how long you're on it, like or parents. There should be parents enforcing.
Well, parents should put that in. I don't think companies should.
Right.
Do
I don't think companies shouldn't do that. But I mean, like parents should. I feel like parents they might benefit from limiting their young children's access to.
I honestly, I would expand that to any age because I think. Again, this is
so. What when I'm 25 years old, my parents should limit my access?
No, I'm not saying the parents. Yeah, I'm not saying the parents should helicopter parent. Like, don't helicopter parent, please. I'm just saying, no matter what age you are, like you're still I'm not even gonna try that word.
Subsequently.
No, substantial.
Oh
my gosh.
Subservient.
No.
Susceptible?
Yes, that word.
There you go. Thank you, Brandon.
So, Brandon, say that word again.
Susceptible.
Susceptible?
Yeah, so you're still that word to any...
Can no one say this?
Oh my
I'm sorry, Bob. Go ahead.
You were... I can't even finish the sentence without laughing. But anyway, the point is, no matter your age, I think you need to be careful what you're doing on social media. You need to be careful who's influencing you on social media, and ultimately you have to realize that there are very few actually real people displaying 100% of truly who they are on social media.
Absolutely. Yeah, you nailed it. Like you gotta separate real life from social media. Don't have your whole life be through the lens of social media.
Exactly.
You got to remember that that's always the best face people put on. Everyone's lives are not that perfect.
Yeah.
So,
and I think
you hit the nail on the head right there.
And I think this is a tangent to. No, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go to online dating. I'm not going to.
No. We're not experts on it.
Okay. Yeah.
And B, that's a pit.
Yeah. I was gonna.
Time to move on.
Yeah, all right. To close this social media discussion.
One more thing. I am curious. Out of that list of 12 social medias, how many of those do you actually use on a daily basis, guys?
Me? Okay, we'll go around.
Just go through the list. Yeah, Charlie, you go first.
Facebook, YouTube, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, and Reddit, and Twitter. So that's 6 of them.
So basically all the big ones. All right. So then, Brandon.
On a daily basis.
Yeah.
Recently, I haven't been going on Facebook that much anymore. It's just been Facebook Messenger and YouTube.
Yeah, I would say the same for me. I haven't used Facebook in probably like a year or two. I don't even have it on my phone anymore.
Like, I rarely post anything. Like, if I ever do anything on Facebook, it's just scrolling through the feed.
Yeah, I don't really post on Facebook as often as I used to. Every now and then I'll put up a post, but...
Yeah, the only reason I post to Facebook is so my grandparents know what I'm up to. Shout out to
it's
my
true.
grandmas.
It's like, I don't mean this is a stereotype, but there's like, it's old people. It's like the majority of people. You go through your feed, and it's like older people that are the majority of people posting.
Yeah, and this is kind of an old conversation, but yeah, Facebook has become a place for, like, it used to be, a hip college age type thing, and now it's just full of your parents and your grandparents, and then your
back to Farmville.
Yeah, and your aunt and uncle
Candy
that you
Crush
haven't
Saga.
your aunt and uncle that you haven't talked to in 3 years. So, like, again, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but anyway, back to your question, Andrew. I use Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat's not on that list. What are you talking about? I don't use YouTube at all. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I use YouTube, and that's about it. So
yeah. I mean, I would say I have a borderline addiction with YouTube. It's bad.
Yeah, I think all four of us could say that.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest. I think that's the biggest up and comer right now is YouTube for sure.
Yeah.
Is they're at number 2. I don't know if they'll take over Facebook's slot, but they're definitely, when it comes to video especially, there's no one that comes close to them.
Well, once all of Facebook. This sounds really grim, but once all of Facebook's population starts.
Wow.
Passing
wow, you're going to go
away.
there. Wow, you're going to talk about the dying off user base? Wow.
Oof. Oof.
But,
we're done.
okay,
We're done.
so speaking of video, okay, so
All right.
I would say YouTube is the biggest platform for user created content. So, but which streaming platforms do you guys use? Okay, so this is like actually professionally created content.
Okay, streaming stuff.
Right.
I use Netflix very regularly. I've been watching The Office.
Okay, so wait, do you all guys have a Netflix account?
Yes,
right?
I have Netflix.
I have a Netflix.
I have access to Netflix.
I have a Netflix account that cancels tomorrow because it's the end of my free month.
Oh, you're one of those people just hopping around with emails.
You create a new email just to use a new Netflix.
No. This is for all of my future bosses out there that are listening to this. I do not email hop. This is only the second time I've done this.
Oh, okay.
So
it's this dangerous slope.
So yeah,
so
it's
far,
very dangerous. So far, it's only been 2. So when you're in my interview, you
soon
can
to be
ask
3.
Me. So yeah, because I need to finish Sherlock. I have one more episode left.
Okay. so you're getting there, Philip. You're slowly sinking into that hole. So wait, Charles, are you the only person? Sorry, go ahead, Philip.
Then I'm just gonna break down and start paying for it. But
Okay, so Philip, you are aware that they raised the price for Netflix, right?
oh gosh dang it, maybe I'll.
Yes.
I just gotta give a quick shout out to my friend Andrew, not this Andrew in the podcast, but a different Andrew.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
I gotta give a quick shout out to Andrew, who's still to this day, since sophomore year, to this day, is using my Netflix account to watch shows. For the last 6 years, he's been using my Netflix account.
Thanks,
man, for leeching.
I mean, you should like change your password, man. Kick him off. You should probably get around to that, man. So, Charlie, do you actually pay for Netflix, or?
Yeah. I pay. I made an agreement with my parents. They pay half of the cost. I pay the other half. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You can't even pay Netflix. Gosh dang.
I can, but I don't. I pay half of it.
Well, I mean, do your parents?
How many of you to pay for your own Netflix? Out of the 3 of you others? I know Philip email hops. But
Philip email hops.
What about you two, Andrew and Brandon?
I also leech off other people. Gonna be honest.
My sister's paying for it.
Yeah, but I don't pay for it at all. My parents pay for it.
Wow.
So, but in my defense, I do pay for Hulu.
Out of all of the Netflix users out there, how many people actually pay for their own account, though?
That's true.
How am I the most? Like I'm the only one here who's paying something for Netflix. It's not the full price, but it's something.
Here's the thing. I have other things that I'm subscribed to monthly that I pay for. Like, for example, the Adobe softwares. Also Star Wars: The Old Republic, but we're not talking about that. I should cancel that. But like in my mind, I value my creative aspect over my sitting around watching Netflix. And so that's what I choose to spend my money on. I don't necessarily want to spend.
But you still use Netflix.
Well, I used it this last week because I was sick and I had nothing else to do. But
okay, you could have been productive, but
I would rather commit to the my Adobe subscription. I would rather commit to Adobe than Netflix, but I pay for both. I have both.
But okay, so guys, if you didn't have access to someone else's Netflix account, would you pay for it? Like, do you feel there's enough content that you're interested in watching that you would pay for, whatever it is? I think it's $12 a month now for the basic plan, or the standard plan. Sorry, would you pay that?
No, I'm gonna answer this question first because I spoke first. My answer to that would be no, and I'm not subscribed to anything like Spotify, Pandora, Hulu, Netflix, like any video streaming site out there. I'm not subscribed to. Again, and a lot of that comes from one that YouTube is a lot of where I find my entertainment. And so that I can get freely. Yeah, there's ads and stuff on there, but like I get that freely and I find entertainment in that. And so that's where I put my watch time into. And then I would also say my attention span is not very I struggle with trying to pay attention to something. So if for example, I don't like listening to podcasts because I can't focus, and honestly, I'm doing right now, I talk too much. And so I don't like listening to someone who just talks on and on and on and on.
Yeah. I'm not sure
listen
that
to yourself
Andrew's
is what you're saying.
Sorry, Andrew. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
No, I'm not sure that I don't think I believe you that Andrew's the one that talked the most in the first podcast at this rate. No. No. Anyways, but to answer Andrew's question, probably not. Netflix has been. I don't know. This might just be me not digging deep enough into Netflix. But from what I've noticed, is that Netflix is kind of dwindling down its shows and stuff, and it's mostly becoming Netflix originals, which some of them are entertaining, some of them are good and all that. But at the same time, you got something like Disney Plus or whatever they're calling their streaming service coming out.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
And apparently, what I don't remember what website I heard this from, but I read it in a news article that's saying that Disney's streaming service is not going to have only Disney stuff on it. They're going to be like Netflix, where they're going to have other other companies having movies on that, and movies and shows on the streaming service. So I think that's going to be real competition for Netflix because it's Disney. They can pay for whatever they want to be on their platform because they have so much money.
Right. Yeah. So basically Disney Plus is what they're calling it. It's going to be launching Q3 or Q4 2019. So that'd be probably around Christmas. That makes sense. I think, Philip, you said the new season of the Clone Wars is coming around August or September, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were speculating that it might actually launch with the new episode or the new season of the Clone Wars, which would make sense because they give it a good original to start with. And they're probably it's gonna be between, it's looking like $9 to $13 a month, so between Netflix's basic plan and their standard plan. And obviously that'll have all the Star Wars, it'll have all the Marvel, all the Disney properties, and also Disney, you got to remember, also owns ABC, so all of ABC's shows.
Right, and they own a History Channel, if I remember correctly.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, Disney owns so many things, I can't list them all, but
that's the other thing. Netflix has Marvel movies on it right now, but all of those are probably not going to be there once Disney Plus comes out.
Okay, let's clarify that. Netflix has 3 Marvel movies.
I don't say all the Marvel movies. I meant they have Marvel movies on there.
But it is interesting, though, because the CEO of Disney said they're not going to make Star Wars movies exclusive to Disney Plus. So they will most likely still license those out, but I don't think he said anything about Marvel or anything else. But yeah, you're probably right. That's probably going to dwindle as we get closer to the launch of Disney Plus.
And even as Disney Plus goes on and probably will grow in popularity, I feel like they're going to start pulling more of their IPs out from licensing to Netflix and other stuff.
Yeah, and other streaming services. Yeah, for sure.
I do want to kind of make a quick point. I honestly don't think they will, because they're already making money off of Netflix and things like that because their content's already on there. And just because they launched their own service, I don't necessarily think they're going to start pulling things from there, because I don't think they're going to have to. They're you know what I'm saying? If the content is already going to be on the Disney streaming service, and then I'm subscribed to the Disney streaming service, but the same video is on Netflix, as also that's on Disney, but
you got to remember they're gonna want to pull. So like Philip, would you really pay for Netflix and Disney Plus?
No. But I would look at the benefits of, since Disney owns all of that. Like, if let's say theoretically I'm paying for a Netflix account, and then Disney launches their service. So excluding the fact that they're launching Clone Wars, which I'm probably going to pay whatever price for that. But
well, I don't think you should exclude that, because that's a big point. I mean, it's like they're gonna want to take their originals and force you to go to Netflix Plus, Disney Plus. They want to give something that will set them apart from everyone else. If all their content on Disney Plus is available everywhere else, why would you go to Disney Plus?
Especially since you probably already have a Netflix account.
Exactly right. They're going to try to grab users. You got to remember, Netflix has 135 or 38 million paid subscribers.
Well, yeah, but like I'm not saying that they're gonna. I'm just saying, on Netflix, the amount of Disney movies that's on there is very limited, and so I don't think that they're gonna pull all of them. I think they're probably just gonna leave those few and maybe license them every once in a while. But like you said, Disney has to have something exclusive. So yeah, Brandon, what do you think?
Yeah, do you think Disney Plus is worth, like, for you? Would it be worth getting as a Star Wars fan?
Also, I don't think Brandon answered the question about paying for your own Netflix account.
Oh yeah, sorry. We passed right over you, Brandon. I apologize.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that. Hey, would you?
I didn't. You guys just went off on a tangent.
Let's take Disney Plus out of this for a second.
Let's answer Netflix first. So, one thing that I have noticed about Netflix is that they are very limiting about their content. Like, yeah, there's a lot of content for you to watch on there, but say I'm paying $13 a month for this streaming service, and it takes me 1 month to get through the entire series of a show.
Right.
Well, in that month, say they drop, like they just get rid of 3 of the shows I've been wanting to watch. Like, and 3 of those 3 shows are shows that I specifically got Netflix to watch. Well,
yeah.
Now what? And then also, the content that they offer isn't the same internationally. This is a fact that I realized when I was in Mexico this summer.
Ah, interesting.
In Mexico, I was on the Wi-Fi of our hotel, and I noticed, hey, they have almost the entire series of Star Wars Rebels on here. A show that I've been curious into watching, and once I did watch a couple episodes, I did get into. And
interesting.
Like, oh, Netflix must have added that this month. But when I got back home, it was no longer on Netflix. So
that was just an exclusive thing.
The contents that they offer aren't the same from country to country. It's like,
interesting.
Why would they offer it from one country, but not another? But if you offer it to all, that's more incentive to get more people in.
To be fair, in their defense, licensing is weird, and internationally, a lot of times there's different distributors.
That's true.
Like, you may license Rebels to the United States, but it may be a completely different distributor that Netflix picked to distribute it in Mexico. So
right, and also also from a more of a business standpoint, different regions of the world prefer different types of content.
Yeah, that's true too.
Are you saying America doesn't like Star Wars Rebels?
They might have done like a marketing study or something like that to determine that like the United States leans one way, and like you gotta keep in mind the United States has a much larger population than Mexico, to my knowledge. Someone can fact check that if you want, but I know the United States is much.
Charlie, yes, they do. I can answer.
Yeah, I know they. I know they have a larger population. I just don't know if I don't know if saying a much higher population is appropriate.
Yeah, by a couple 100 million, yes.
But anyways, But so like you gotta keep that in mind. Because so the United States is gonna have a wider preference of movies and shows and stuff, and Netflix can only put so much on their servers or contain so much on their servers, to my knowledge, because I'm not entirely sure how Netflix servers work. But yeah,
that's not really the problem for Netflix. It's more the licensing costs. And to be honest, Brand, probably what I would guess is it was probably a lot cheaper to license it just from Mexico, because there was probably much more of a demand in the United States. So to license Star Wars Rebels for the United States, that cost would be exponentially higher.
Also, for Charlie, Mexico has a rough population of 129.2 million, and the United States has 325.7 million.
Yes. Okay, so saying much more is accurate.
Is an accurate statement, yes.
I couldn't decide if saying much more populated or just more populated. I couldn't decide on the amounts, okay?
Anyway, either would make sense. So,
I like to be accurate.
Now, on to the question of Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was that? Would I say that it's worth it?
For you personally, yeah, would you get it?
I mean...
Assuming, let's put it this way, assuming that all Disney content is on there and nowhere else.
If all Disney content is on there and nowhere else, I would say yes.
Now, would you say theoretically had a Netflix subscription? Would you cancel that and then go over to Disney Plus, or would you keep both, or how would that work?
I think it would all depend on how much I used the Netflix account while doing Disney Plus, while watching the stuff on Disney Plus. Like if I only did Disney Plus, then I would say, hey, for the meantime, let me cancel my Netflix account. I'm not using it. I'm just wasting money at that point. But if I watch each one equally, like if there's still a bunch of shows on Netflix that I'm interested in watching, like a bunch of shows or movies, then I'll keep Netflix until those shows are done. And if there's after that, if there's nothing else I'm interested in on there, then I'll cancel the account.
Gotcha.
Whereas Disney Plus, there's so much content that they have yet to license out that is you can't find it anywhere else. And I'd be really interested in if it was available on Disney Plus.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So it would be dependent on what content, like what you're into, what your tastes are in that moment, or for that month.
Yes.
So you'd be like a month-to-month Netflix subscriber, but you would be for sure interested in Disney Plus.
Yes.
Gotcha.
If there was a bunch of stuff I'd be interested in right off the bat.
Right. Assuming that, because again, who knows how they're going to license it all or set it all up. But yeah, interesting.
Right. And like I said, they will have non-Disney things on there too, apparently. So it's going to be a hard competition for Netflix.
Right. Now here's another wild question. How many of you guys have access to an Amazon Prime account?
I do.
Do you ever use the Prime Video?
No, I do not.
I actually do.
Interesting.
I watched one episode of The Tick.
I've occasionally used it.
Okay, I'm curious. What do you watch in there? Honestly, I have no idea what shows are on Prime Video. I've never used it. I do have Prime, but...
So most of it is just watching either old movies or just finding something that just says, okay, this looks, semi-decent, and you decide to watch it.
I've watched one episode of The Tick, and then I've been interested in seeing that show Jack Ryan.
Oh, I've seen trailers for that, yeah.
John Krasinski.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Jack Ryan or Jack Reacher?
No, Jack Ryan. Jack Reacher is a different. Those are two movies.
I think it's Jack Ryan, and it stars John Krasinski. I know that, and I've been interested in seeing that, but I never got around to it because I never got around to going onto Prime Video.
Yeah, with Prime Video, it's pretty much if the occasion comes where I am scrolling through it and I see a movie that I could watch this, I'll watch it. But other than that, I don't actively search it for any content. Like there's as far as my knowledge, there's never really been much on there that stands out as like one of the like big popular mainstream shows.
Yeah, pretty much Amazon Prime is full of outdated material. And like they don't have anything current.
Oh, okay, interesting. Gotcha. Yeah, I've never used it. It's just been like, I have a Prime account, and it's funny is when you'll check out, they'll tell you like, oh, you have a Prime Video subscription. Did you know this? It's like, I never use it, but sure. So I was just curious.
The only reason I have, it's because of my parents, but is for shipping and
Yeah.
getting those discounts.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, that's same for me. So
yeah, that's pretty much the only reason.
With Prime, I think the last thing I've watched on there was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
oh, that was actually on there. Okay, that's not terrible.
But now that's on Netflix, and it's like,
oh,
well, okay.
well then. So like, in other words, none of you guys would subscribe to it if it was its own platform.
Absolutely
no,
not.
probably not.
No.
Okay.
No.
There's never really been any TV series or any big amount of movies that have seriously interested me.
And there was one. I don't know if it was an Amazon original. Amazon Prime. Hang on, I gotta look it up. But it was,
what was it called?
something. It was an alternate. It was an alternate universe where the Axis side.
Oh yeah, The Man in the High Tower. Yes, that's the only. Okay, I take that back. That's the only show I've actually watched.
So yeah, I did watch part of that show. That was good. Again, I didn't finish it because again, I have my own thing with TV shows and I just don't like them. But that's a whole different topic. But like it was good and it was a Prime original. So
Okay, well that's
I
one,
think
but
I think Prime. Okay, another question because based on our time, we're not going to be able to get to our other two topics. So, who do you think is better, Prime original or Netflix original?
Netflix.
I don't even think that's a competition.
Netflix, like the thing about
Stranger
Netflix
Things.
originals
Last Kingdom.
is that it's not Netflix originals. It's not always just Netflix saying, "Hey, let's put out a movie or a TV show." It's more often than not, it's this third-party company coming to Netflix saying, "Hey,
Yeah, can you produce this for us?
We have an idea for a movie or a TV show. We can produce it, but will you stream it on your? We want to stream it on your platform."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let me add this to the
That's
whole
fair.
thing there. Netflix acts a lot like just like another studio. Like they have there's production companies and then there's like companies like Disney and stuff that like publish or produce, or I don't know what I'm blanking on the proper term right now, but they do like
Distribute?
distributing, yeah,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Netflix operates a lot like those companies where they distribute, and they aren't just strictly a production company. Whereas, to my knowledge, Amazon, I don't know all that much about Prime Video and how Amazon Prime works, but it sounds like they do a lot of their own stuff.
Yeah, like
Whereas
actually
Netflix-
are involved in the production of it. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas Netflix, there'll be production companies like any other major movie for any other distributor, and then they'll go to it with Netflix. Netflix will fund it or distribute it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, with Netflix, there's a good portion of Netflix original movies and TV shows that are actually DreamWorks Animation. Like they've done a lot of business together.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's actually like TV shows that
You'll
have
find a lot
run.
of stuff there.
Yeah, exactly. They have run on TV, but then they sign like an exclusivity deal with Netflix, and that becomes a Netflix original. You know, like The Last Kingdom was like that. I really liked that show, and that was actually a BBC produced show, but then they licensed it to Netflix. So yeah, you're right. But I will say one last thing. I do feel like they've spent, I think it's in the last 2 years, they spent $8 billion on content, right? And I feel it's an insane number, but I feel like the quality is not reflected. Like I feel like they've just greenlit a lot of things that were not really.
Has Netflix made a profit in the past few years?
They have not,
That's what I'm
and that's the
wondering.
interesting thing is they're actually they've basically they've tripled their debt in the last 3 years. It started at $2 billion in 2017. Now they're up to $8 billion in long-term debt.
Really?
Yeah, but they're worth $150 billion. So you got to kind of weigh those two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the problems I think Netflix has found with one of their, like with their subscription thing of having multiple screens, is like, well, it's having one subscription per screen is not a very like user-friendly thing. At the same time, there's probably 8 times the amount of people that leech off of Netflix accounts than those who actually subscribe.
True. But with that, I mean, they have 139 million paid accounts, not just like people that use their servers. Those are paid accounts.
Yeah.
So I mean, they make a lot of money, but right now they're trying to expand their content so aggressively. They're spending all that money. It's kind of the Amazon model where they didn't make a profit for like 10 years, but that wasn't really their goal. So.
Ooh, can I read this little bit that ties back to our talk about Amazon Prime versus Netflix and how Netflix distributes, and whereas Amazon's a little more hands-on with their own stuff? Let me read this. This is from Wikipedia, so take it as you will. But scripts for television scripts for television and films are submitted online to Amazon and are read by staff. So, and then Amazon aims to review submitted scripts within 90 days. If a project is chosen for development, the writer receives $10,000, and then basically it looks like that Amazon takes over the rest. Now the creator, it can be selected for different things. Like it can be selected for distribution as a full budget series, then the creator gets extra money. But or if it's a full budget movie, the creator gets like $200,000. But they do the producing, and they sometimes work with other companies like 20th Century Fox. But it looks like that Amazon mostly does their own producing, and basically people who write them, they do take scripts written by other people, and then
so that they're fully involved in the production process.
Yeah, besides writing the scripts.
Right. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And I just found that really interesting when I read this, because I didn't realize I didn't realize how hands-on Amazon was.
Yeah, so that's really hands-on. Yeah, $10,000 is nothing as well. I get that's not like maybe for a huge show, but still.
I mean, you did say that if it does become a full production series or a movie, they do get an extra bonus.
That's true, but still, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, so anything else you want to say about this?
Well, I do have a question for all of y'all.
Yeah, shoot.
This that relates to the streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Cable TV. Any of you, what is your opinions on it? Do you cut it? Cut the cable? Yeah, keep the cable?
Well, let's just ask this first. I think probably none of us actually pay for cable, but...
Right.
Do you guys live in a house that has a cable connection?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Well, I mean, Phil, you're in a dorm, so that doesn't count.
Well, no. Even at my home, we do not have cable.
It's not worth. I hear it's real expensive. I don't know how much money exactly, but I hear it's pretty expensive to get like a full range of channels.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna
go ahead. Sorry.
So I'm gonna go on a mini rant about television.
All right. Before we do that, let me just put this one number out there, okay? So cable users, they peaked in 2000 at 68 million users, and then by 2013 that had dropped to 54 million users, and it's losing users every year. So just keep that in mind. So all right, Phil, go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, the premise of this is what's on cable TV is you have these different kind of shows which are interspersed with commercials, and so you're watching a roughly 40-minute episode with 20 minutes of advertisements. Compare that to something like Netflix, where you can watch the entire 40-minute thing without any interruptions, unless you have a poor internet connection. So
fair point.
But that, and you also look at cable, the majority of what is on there is either, again, because I didn't grow up with cable, I never had cable. The only thing my only experience with cable is at my grandparents' house, which we used to watch Hallmark movies during Christmas time. Mm. And so I think a good chunk of what's on there is the news. It's different news broadcasting, doing different shows, doing different actually telling the news, no matter how distorted it may be. Sorry, that was too political. But the point is why the cable is dropping is because you're paying for a subscription, and then you're also paying your time to different advertisement companies to watch their commercials. And kind of like I talked about before, like me with my quote unquote short attention span and just not wanting to wanting to sit down, get it done and move on and do something else, is the same way. Just like, okay, I'm watching the show and now we're done, and now I have this break where I just get to hear someone rant about their product or something like that. yeah, it does make me hungry, and I want to go get a Little Caesars pizza, no matter how gross it may be, because they present
Why
it to
would you
me in
go
that
with
light.
Little Caesars?
Why?
Because
This-
those are the commercials. Because those are the commercials I run into. It's either
Okay,
that
well,
or
you're watching
Papa
some
John's.
lowbrow TV then.
Yeah, it's called Ion Television, which is crime shows. But the point is the point I'm trying to make with this very long story is, for me personally, cable just annoys me because the content I'm trying to get at is so mixed up with so many other things that I can't actually. It doesn't feel like I'm getting at what I want.
Right.
Does that make sense?
I'm gonna branch off that rant a little bit with my own kind of rant, because I have a few numbers here to read you off. DirecTV Now, which DirecTV, for streaming live TV, $35 to $70 a month. Based on the plan, and it can go, and there's a plus, so I assume that means that in some cases it can go above $70 a month.
Oh, nice.
And so you're paying that much money per month to watch whatever the channels decide to give you. So you're not even choosing your own content. You're watching whatever the channels decide to give you plus commercials, extra advertisement on top of that, for 4 times the price of Netflix subscription, or assuming what a Disney Plus subscription is going to cost.
Yeah, and you wonder why those numbers are dropping. And again, we'll go back to the Disney Plus thing. Like, Andrew, you talked about Disney owns CBS, so many. Like,
they own ABC.
Oh, ABC. Sorry.
Yep.
Different 3-letter thing.
Hey, it's
ABC.
ABC,
But-
AMC, HBO.
Okay, stop. You're gonna get me confused.
Hey, there's HBO now as well. Don't forget about that.
Whatever
NBS,
Disney owns.
NBS, NBC.
MBS. Yeah.
Anyway, whatever thing Disney has, like that. I mean, I'm assuming that on the subscription is like they're not going to have any commercials on it, but you can still watch the shows. You can still watch, I don't know, whatever news ABC does. News broadcasting. I have my own opinions about that, but we're not getting into that. But like that's available to you by paying a fraction of that price and the watch time is so much shorter by like 20 minutes to like 20 to 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And like my grandpa worked in the television network, so like I have some connection to it, and I think like there's a respect in that area. And obviously it's I'm not saying they're not creative individuals that are not putting out good content and stuff like that. What I'm saying is I think they're running an old model that just isn't working anymore. And I think like we've seen even the idea of like a newspaper, how that has just suddenly started to disappear. I think cable is in a way going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think the point is who has that subscription for you, Philip? It's your grandparents. And I think it's a very much a generational thing. Like,
Yeah.
we all know that streaming's a lot better, but you got to remember, internet connections were not at a point even 10 years ago or even 5 years ago where you could reliably stream anything. That's why Netflix started out with DVDs. That was the only way you could. That was an alternative to cable, was to rent DVDs. So.
Yeah, and
Or VHS tapes.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, what's that?
I've heard the argument that I only have. This is a quote here. I only have cable so I can watch the news and sports. And now to counter that argument, I'm pretty sure that ESPN has like online streams now. Is that correct?
Yes.
True, but I will say in that person's defense, it is kind of hard to get sports. You can stream sports, and that's getting better. But I would say a lot of sports broadcasting is still stuck with cable and the traditional media.
Yeah, and then news. Just get your news from the internet. Just
yeah,
get your
because
news
that's
from
so much better.
Websites. Come
Okay,
on.
well, here's the thing. All news media outlets are biased and not 100% accurate, so it doesn't really matter what source you get it. Just fact check people, okay? Like, stop posting. Okay.
Do your own research. Go to the actual sites of the events and research for yourself.
Back to Facebook. Stop reposting fake articles, okay?
Fake news.
Fake news. It's all fake news. If there's an article on Facebook, chances are it's fake, okay? Rant over. We're done. Also, we're near the end of this podcast, so before
Can I get my 2 cents in on
Yes,
this cable
of course.
topic?
Yeah.
You've took up about 15 minutes of this topic so far, Philip.
No.
Yeah,
This-
Philip, you did go on quite a bit of a monologue there. Not gonna lie.
I'm gonna look back at my recording and I'm gonna show you guys that I do not talk as nearly
Okay.
as much
I'd
as
like
you
to see
think I
that.
do.
All right, Brandon, go ahead.
That's
Okay.
this
But
podcast.
my 2
Charlie,
cents.
shut up.
My 2 cents.
All right, Brandon, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
So, on cable TV, it kind of defending it a bit is that I think it's safe to say that probably 80% of the content that's on cable TV will never end up on streaming services.
Yeah, that's fair.
Plus, there's this thing called DVR.
That also is a good point.
Like there's a lot of shows that my family watches nowadays. Like your life is busy. That's a fact. Like you can't really get there in time to watch your show the time of it. Plus, ads and commercials are annoying. But with DVR, you can choose what you want to record and pretty much record all of the new content and watch it whenever you want, just skipping through the commercials as well.
Yeah,
and that's what my family does a lot nowadays.
But what's better? Having a service that has all of those for you, or you have to first buy the DVR, you have to record it, and you have to,
You still have to
And then
fast forward
obviously-
through all the ads.
and you
Yeah.
still have to fast forward the ads.
But no.
And that takes what, 20 seconds?
I do
but
agree with
here's the
Brandon.
thing.
I don't think it's
But
quite
it's-
as
It's
cable's-
not convenient.
No, it's not. I don't. Cable is not as good as streaming, but you got to remember
I'm not saying that it is better than streaming. I'm just saying that you shouldn't just completely throw it out the window.
right. I don't think people are complete idiots for having cable.
There's still
No, I totally
still
agree.
a lot of content on cable.
Mhm.
Like I said, there's so much content on cable that will never end up on streaming services. Like there's a lot of shows that my family enjoys to watch that you can't find anywhere else online.
That's true.
But I would make the argument. I think cable will die, and I think it will all go to streaming services.
Well, for sure, but it's like
Eventually, but in this right now we're in a transition.
yeah,
time.
exactly.
yeah.
You can't just completely discount it right now when there's still a lot more content that it has to offer that has yet to transition to streaming services.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Mhm.
And that you're right. We're on a transition period, a transition from this topic to the end of the podcast. So
That was beautiful. Also, to all of our listeners out there, I swear we do not just talk about technology and the internet and things like that, because that has been the content of both these episodes. So next time,
Next episode, we'll have quite some different content.
yes, we will not be talking about the social medias or anything. So we're not just nerds. Just
Oh
wanna
no, we
clarify
definitely are. Let's be
that.
fair.
Okay, yeah, you're right. We're
We
nerds.
are
I mean,
nerds.
three of you are.
Oh, you're gonna try to be above us now?
Don't
You're
Charlie,
the freaking
don't
biggest
you
nerd of us
even.
all.
Charlie, you can go on half-hour-long rants about cameras.
Yes.
Are you saying you're
That's
not
true.
a nerd?
That's true.
Viewers, if you do
Okay.
not ever request any topics about cameras, because the entire podcast will be Charlie talking.
It will just be Charlie. Let's not.
And
we're
we'll
not
we'll
gonna-
just be sitting there going,
mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Huh.
Yep, I know what my next topic will be. No, okay.
No, we're not talking about cameras.
Anyways,
Anyway, so
Moving
I'm
on.
gonna go ahead and outro this because Charlie, you introed it. Actually, no, you know what?
no, Brandon, do the outro.
Yeah, Brandon,
Brandon, do the outro.
take it away.
Yes.
All right. Well, as always, thank you for listening in. Like,
Putting up with us.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Putting up with let me put it this way. Putting up with Charlie and Philip.
Fair
Andrew,
point. Fair
this
point.
isn't your outro. This is Brandon's outro. Brandon, can
I'm just
Yes.
I'm complimenting his outro, all right?
Thank you for putting up with us. As always, if you want to hear any topics, put them down in the comments, and we'll consider them.
not controversial.
Yes.
Obviously not controversial. Like, we're trying to stay pretty neutral and family friendly here, but for the most part, just thank you for listening in. Leave your comments down below, and Have a great time.
Bye-bye.
Fantastic
Aloha.
week. Aloha.
All right.
Aloha.
And ending recording in 3, 2, 1.